Hi, it's Patrick Townley at ptlarts.com. I start my day's work with a blank canvas. Oh, with a blank canvas. I'll just, there's a shadow. Yes. So, leadership. The last instalment of these, from everyone's benefit, like exploring these points as an individual, working, making art, like it's the key thing that I've found out, which is really important, is to have a strong mindset. And these leadership points I've been going through from Tough Minded Leadership, Joe D Batten. I'll be coming back to this book later on, I've no doubt. But actually, I'm going to start like doing some other stuff after this. But I've got 10 points today, and I'm not going to list them all. I'm just going to go through them. And right, so the first one, as you see, I'm reading from the book. Oh, there's the book. Yeah, I'm reading from the book. Enrichment of others. Leaders are proud of the free enterprise way of life and seek to enrich the lives of others by the richness of their own. I think particularly pertinent as artists, isn't it? This, as artists, that is like our purpose to enrich. Doesn't mean everyone's going to like what we do by any means. In fact, that would be real. Many of us may try to make our artwork specifically to please others, and I know, and that actually takes away from what we're really expressing inside. So somehow there needs to be like a combination of it. And I think it's the affinity that there is between us and other people is our senses and the way that we respond to things. So something deeply moves us. It doesn't necessarily mean it moves us in the way that we expect, but if it connects with somebody's life, then it is immediately creating value. So I think we're like quids in, to coin a phrase, on that one as artists, because that's really, even if we can't see it at the moment, that's actually the whole grand swell of everything that we do. So, enrichment of others. So really, yes, that is what we do, isn't it? We make our life interesting for others. We do interesting things that really surprise people sometimes. So the next one is integrity. Leaders live integrity. Instead of relying on preachments and pointing fingers, they know that leadership by integrity is realistic and workable, that in reality, there is no fit substitute for it. So integrity, we really need to draw and develop our integrity in dealing with ourselves, I believe. Really checking our behaviors with ourselves, because that is like reflected in everything around us. And before you know it, like when we're sort of out of sync with ourselves and we're lacking integrity in our actions, it will actually stunt our growth and our ability to connect with others. And after all, for us to become successful working artists that can gradually build up revenues, whatever way that we do as well as a business, we need to develop this real approach towards the way that we approach things. So maybe it is when we make our art and idea art, all of that is debt free, but which is completely fair. It's not about control or integrity. It's about like having integrity about our work, for example. So the next point, results, not activity. Excellent leaders concentrate on results rather than activity. They measure the performance of their team members in terms of results and their contribution to company objectives. They believe people are on the payroll for only one reason: to make a significant contribution to company objectives and to grow. They believe one must do the job or get out of it. So it's difficult, isn't it, to quantify that on a personal level? But I do believe, there's certain elements of ourselves that we can start to become strict with these habits that we may have to complain about our customers, to complain about anything, in fact, because like in the previous point, it's about integrity, isn't it? So, that's how I can draw that into my own work. That's how I can draw it into my own work. So the results are shown in like the growing understanding about the way that I relate to people, not wishing, if I've got a tendency to be arrogant or push people away, if I've got a habit to complain about very small things that get on my nerves. Yes, to change those things is like dealing with this part of my team. So like actually the complaining part of me, get out. You don't belong in my company. It's quite a reasonable approach. It's just to check these habits and change them, isn't it? So the next point, candor. So, okay, I didn't really understand. It's not a word that's that commonly used these days, is it? Leaders practice truth rigorously and reflect a true warmth of feeling towards their associates. They have the guts to say what ought to be said. They practice positive warmth in the process. So that's wonderful, isn't it, for tough leadership? We've probably got a negative, I've had negative experiences from leaders, i.e. people that have employed me when I was working for a company, that warmth wasn't in there. That wasn't tough-minded. As far as they're concerned, they didn't have an ounce of warmth in them. And but at the same time, there's part of me that hasn't got an ounce of warmth in it as well. So again, it comes to integrity. It's about team members, i.e. in yourself, the different aspects of your personality, really looking at it, because actually what we're doing is growing as human beings. Yes, we may expand our work and then consequently our business, and we'll be able to really own with pride what we do instead of maybe complaining about it. So you start to see how these different things are tied together. So it's like being honest with yourself, with these different aspects of yourself, and then taking responsibility for it and begin to transform it. That it's got to be the way forward. Many great leaders in the world have taught this way, like Nelson Mandela, for example, about the human behavior actually impacting on others and consequently on the whole of humanity. Isn't that amazing? We're connected to each other and we can have an impact on the whole of humanity when we begin to transform these negative tendencies. And it's these negative tendencies that are holding us back from being successful, isn't it? So management by example. Leaders know that the actions of a responsible leader are contagious and that there is virtually no limit to potential accomplishment if leaders set the example of looking for strengths and expecting the best. So again, coming back to being honest with ourselves, all of these, it's not like, much to my surprise actually reading through this and doing these videos, it's somehow by talking about it and reflecting on these points, it has an impact on your internal self and the way that you govern all the different parts of yourself. So gradually, I'm not complaining to the same degree, because I'm actually, when I start to complain, I'm thinking about it, etc., etc. So, you know, the management by example is not like berating myself for complaining, but understanding I've developed this habit through laziness, really, through not actually looking in depth at the situation that I'm complaining about. For example, over the weekend, I happened to go in a bus lane because I was tired of waiting for the traffic, and I got caught, and it's going to cost me £30 to pay for the fine. So, no, okay, I'm not perfect. The first thing I did was complain, and I try and look at all the reasons why it didn't seem fair. Like there was a big traffic jam. I was like feet away from where it wasn't a bus lane. I was just turning left, etc., etc. Go on and on and on, can't you? I was in a bus lane, and it cost £30 fine. Pay the fine and don't do it again. Move on. It's not worth the energy. Easy, is it? Okay, so a clear philosophy. Leaders make sure that their organization's philosophy and objectives are researched, developed, and clearly communicated. They believe the philosophy that must pervade and saturate everything in the organization and form the foundation of its culture. So that, for me, that is what I'm doing now, like going through all of these points. Because I'm new at this game being an artist. You know, it's not like I've been doing it all my life. I'm starting again. So I'm 60 years old now, and I intend to sort of spend the next 35 years being a painter with a strong foundation, firm foundation, so that I can build on it. And I need this philosophy, I need these leadership skills within myself to be able to build any sort of like future and in what I'm doing. I'm certainly doing it with my painting. I just need to be able to not give up, not just hide away in my studio and have loads and loads of paintings and give up going online, give up using social media, the fantastic platforms, being able to talk to you. What a gift, it's fantastic. You know, I want to take the chance to do it. Live the life that I really want to live, which isn't the same as what everybody else wants to live. It's the life that I want to live. So that philosophy is all about like giving value to others is actually giving value to myself. So the more that I give to others, help others, I'm actually helping myself because we're not separate. It's logic, isn't it? So I'm doing myself a favor as well as hopefully you in being encouraged what I'm doing. 34, accountability. Leaders believe people are more efficient and happier when they understand clearly what results are expected of them and when they are involved in determining these results. Right. Accountability, like it's quite difficult, isn't it, to be accountable for something that you're developing. So like the hardest thing is like you become accountable for doing a whole bunch of things and then you find out one of them isn't maximizing your efficiency, your time. It's not actually bringing the results that you want. So you have to like just change as well. So like that's part of the accountability. And so like I say, these different parts of you, some of the parts of yourself that doubt and they don't feel that you're good enough, etc., 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 need to become accountable to like really not push them away and not berate them, but sort of take them on board and find out what it is that needs to happen to transform that and become part of this team, this wonderful team of the self. So the next point is purpose and direction. Leaders are visionaries. They know that all team members will contribute and receive more if they are helped to develop clear feelings of purpose, direction, dignity, and expectations. They provide direction, not directions. They explain very thoroughly what they want, but leave the how up to their team members. Of course, we can't leave the how up to our team members because the team members are us. But the whole thing of being open as well, open to those around us, actually what starts to happen is the people that are customers, our clients, the people that want to buy our artwork become part of the team. So it's like really listening to that aspect as well, listening to what it is that we need to. So this is a point that's diverting a little bit off the subject, but this is a really interesting point, isn't it, for artists and making art? Because, on one level it's important to make art that people want, but it isn't a case of making art, making things, not making the art that we're true to. So it's a very fine balance, and one that needs constant reflection. So there's two more points. Expectations of excellence. Leaders know that perhaps the finest gift you can give another person is the gift of a stretching expectation based on a never-ending search for that person's strengths. So, yeah, expectations of excellence is, if what happens if one of our things that stops us doing things is perfection. It isn't really about that. It's that stretching ourselves is really good. I'm stretching myself doing this and talking and making this video. I'm stretching myself making a painting. All the time I believe that if we approach our creativity and try to do something more than we've done before, then it is really, really rewarding. And it's not just a job, it's something more than a job. It's something that begins to impact on our whole internal self. That's all I say on that one. The final point, laser-like focus. Now, I've heard this many, many times from entrepreneurs over the last year or so. Laser-like focus. So what does Joe D Batten say on this final point? Leaders compare the average group of people on one hand and their untapped possibilities on the other to the difference between an ordinary room full of diffused particles of light and a laser beam with its mind-boggling propensities and possibilities. They know the answer is, and so there's a formula here, vision plus focus plus action equals the G forces for the future. So yes, I think it's having a laser-like focus on making progress and not giving in. The vision we talked about, having a vision, setting a vision for 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever, into the future where we want to be, and reviewing that on a regular basis. The G force to the future. What a lovely idea, isn't it? So we can go on a ship to the future with a clear, navigated path to get to where we need to be. So this concludes my look at leadership from Joe D Batten. At this point, I may well come back to it again because it's actually, in fact, I'm going to watch the videos so I can hear what I've said. And also I'm writing them up into blogs and stuff. And I think what I've really recognized in the last few weeks of working through this is that for every creative person, mindset is key to making progress. And if you look at anyone who has been successful, then this determination and mindset and laser-like focus is always like deeply embedded in everything they do. And they will have been through all sorts of struggles and difficulties to get where they are to be successful. And that's how they've got grounded a strong foundation, which you need, because when you become successful, it's not like the obstacles go away, but you need to have like the strength and the fortitude to be able to see it through. So thank you very much. And I'll see you on the next video, which will be something different. Thank you very much indeed.